The rate of fire of a weapon refers to how quickly it can launch its projectiles, typically measured in rounds per minute. Every weapon in Call of Duty Mobile has a fixed rate of fire value, which can be slow, moderate, or fast. Some weapons in the game even have attachments which can change its rate of fire value altogether, but it keeps it at a fixed value throughout the game. But have you ever heard of a gun with a variable rate of fire value?
What's up, guys? My name is Rising, and welcome back to another gun guide for Call of Duty Mobile.
This is the series where we'll be focusing on in-depth breakdowns, tips, builds, and class setups for every single weapon in Call of Duty Mobile. And today, we'll be covering the ASM10 assault rifle.
The ASM10, which is based on the AN-94 assault rifle in real life, is a 3 to 5 shot kill weapon, dealing 34 damage in the initial damage range, which drops all the way down to 20. Unlike most other guns in the game, this gun does not have any bonus damage multiplier zone apart from the head. Headshots aren't really so useful on this weapon. However, the 3-shot kill is consistent throughout the body, unlike the AK-47, where you have to hit at least one shot to the head or the upper body or arms. The rate of fire is slow for an assault rifle at 545 rounds per minute, which is exactly the same as the AK-47. This means your time to kill will be 220 milliseconds in the initial damage range, which drops down to 440 milliseconds in the longer ranges. And if you can manage hitting 2 consecutive headshots in the initial damage range, you can achieve a very fast 110 milliseconds time to kill.
Looking at the range profile, we can see that the ASM10 features a 3-shot kill range up to 20 meters, which is not so great. Although there are a few attachments to boost this range, the lack of attachment options while building the weapon makes range boosting difficult, which we'll be discussing shortly. You can see the comparison of the ASM10 with the other meta weapons out there.
Coming to the accuracy stats, the ADS bullet spread is almost average for an assault rifle, although the initial spread is slightly above average. The hipfire spread is pretty bad on this weapon, which is the case for most assault rifles, and is not recommended to hipfire outside point blank. The hit flinch is standard for an assault rifle, however the bullet impact is slightly better than average.
Coming now to the recoil, as you can see that the ASM10 has a low recoil pattern with slight horizontal deviation. The initial shots are very accurate, and you must be able to kill your opponent in the first few shots itself if you have a good aim. Coming to the handling stats, the ASM10 is pretty average in this department, and for the mobility stats also, the ASM10 is again average, while the ADS movement speed is slightly below average. It is interesting to note that as ASM10 the exact same mobility and handling values as the AK-47. The magazine capacity is below average for an assault rifle at 25 rounds with 100 in reserve. It reloads in 1.13 seconds with an empty reload time of 1.50 seconds. Having a low rate of fire, you may not be requiring to reload too often, and you can easily take down at least 3 enemies with a single mag.
And with that covers all the base stats of the weapon. You might be thinking, the ASM10 has so many similarities with the AK-47, so why not use the AK-47 itself, which has way more range, BSA, and stability? What's the point of using the ASM10 then? Well, there's a signature attachment that the ASM10 features, which completely changes the way it operates. Let us now dive deep into this special attachment. This attachment is called the Branson barrel, which basically turns the ASM10 into a 2-shot hyperburst, which should have been the case in first place. Nevertheless, this attachment is quite interesting and modifies its rate of fire values. The first 2 shots are fired at around 900 rounds per minute. After that, it fires at the standard 545 rounds per minute. This means that if you hit those first 3 shots, then your 3-shot time to kill becomes 133 milliseconds, which is incredibly fast. And if you're lucky enough to achieve a 2-shot kill by landing the initial 2 shots to the head, your time to kill now becomes 67 milliseconds, which is just beyond the imagination. However, after your initial 3 shots are fired, The fourth bullet comes after an interval of 167 milliseconds. This means that your time to kill will become 300 milliseconds. A lot of math goes there as well.
Alongside the rate of fire modification, the Branson also slightly decreases your mobility values as well. However, it massively improves your recoil control. As you can see, the shots are much tighter now, which is great for this weapon. And that covers all of the stats for the Branson barrel for the ASM10. Now a question arises, should you burst fire the ASM10? The answer is yes, if you're accurate enough. Spraying at enemies is not an option for this weapon, and you must be extremely precise in landing your shots. This is a high-risk, high-reward weapon, and so your aim should be extremely good to achieve its full potential. Always try to reset your firing after you achieve your kill so that you can get that hyperburst back again. So now let us see how to build this weapon properly.
The build that we offer comprises of the monolithic suppressor to boost your range and stay off the radar, the Branson for obvious reasons, no stock to mitigate the mobility cons from the Branson, granulated grip tape for improved accuracy, and the 33-round extended mag for improved magazine capacity. You can swap out the mag for an optic of preference if you want to, but I feel like the iron sight is fine enough. This build boosts your range by 20%, which is nice, although you can't boost your range further because the Branson takes away the barrel slot. This was the slot limitation which I was talking about in the beginning of the video. However, you can see the range profile of this weapon in comparison to other metal weapons out there. Our 3-shot kill range is boosted up to 24 meters, and you may not be wanting to challenge gunfights beyond that range. Our recoil is also greatly improved because of the Branson. I don't want to go over all the stat changes, so you can pause the video and have a look.
As for an example class setup, for respawns, we have the FHJ18 for taking down score streaks. We have the perk Greed Red as our wild card, allowing us to carry 2 red perks, which we have Dauntless and Flak Jacket in this case. And for the other 2 perks, we have Quick Fix and Hard Align. You may swap out Hardline for firepower support if you want. For the lethal equipment, we have a Molotov cocktail, and for the tactical, we have a trophy system. Operator skills and score streaks can be chosen as preference. For search and destroy, I prefer a melee for efficient rushing, although you may take a pistol if you want. The perks remain the same apart from using dead silence in the blue perk slot. We have a contact grenade as the lethal equipment and a smoke grenade as the tactical for blocking enemy lines of sight.
And with that, gun is going to wrap it up on the gun guide for the ASM10. As for my thoughts on the weapon, I consider it to be a very strong option in terms of raw firepower, although you have to be very precise in landing those initial hyperburst shots. This gun can definitely outclass those meta weapons out there if you can use it properly. As said before, this is a high-risk, high-reward sort of weapon, and you may need to practice with this gun a few times before you unlock its true potential, although it's not that difficult to master it. The limitation of range boosting attachments sucks a little bit, so you should be using it as an aggressive flex AR unlike the AK-47. Overall, the ASM10 is an upper-tier assault rifle whose effective use highly depends on the user's aim. I really enjoy using this weapon in ranked, mainly because of its unique firing mechanism. I'd highly suggest you to go and give it a try. And of course, those were just my thoughts on the ASM10. I'd love to hear from you guys. What do you think of this weapon? Do you also feel like it's a unique gun to play with? Or its maximum potential of usage is too difficult to achieve? Just let your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you have any assault rifle in mind, let me know which one you want me to cover next. Make sure to subscribe and leave a like on this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.